guys. Way to go. Keep it going. Good job, guys. All right, Paul. I see you. All right, Travis. Finish. Sean. Coach Carl.
Great job, guys.
Hey there, it's Coach Curl here, and welcome to the Today's Leader podcast, building tomorrow's best leaders today. In this episode, I'm going to dive into something that every modern leader wrestles with. And this is, how do you balance data-driven decisions with your gut instinct? We have a business world that's flooded with analytics, dashboard, and KPIs, and it's tempting for us to think that data has all the answers. Data-based decisions. But here's the truth. Great leadership isn't just about logic and data. It's about wisdom. And that means knowing when to trust the numbers and when to trust yourself. And this balance matters because, and there's a number of reasons, right? Data will give you clarity and confidence, but intuition and gut will give you speed and sensitivity. And relying on one will create blind spots. You either become too rigid or too reactive. And the best leaders will use both. They'll use facts to inform us, and they'll use intuition, experience, or their gut to interpret. So how do we strike the right balance? Well, we start with the data. So we let the numbers challenge our assumptions. So we ask ourselves things like, what is this really telling me? What trends, what patterns are starting to emerge? And this helps us keep our decisions grounded, right? And then we want to check in for the human context. So data shows us what's happening, but it never tells you why it's happening. And this is where we need our emotional intelligence. What's the mood in the room? What's not being said? What is your gut telling you? What is your gut signals being picked up? And so therefore we use our gut or our intuition as a filter, not as a shortcut, right? So your instinct is shaped by your experience. And we use this sense to see if something just doesn't feel right. It feels off. It feels out of whack. Or is this an opportunity others might miss if they just rely on the data? So our instinct is shaped by our experience. But we do want to validate that intuition. And once again, we don't want to make a decision based on a hunch if the hard evidence isn't supporting it. So it's a balancing act. And finally, for leaders to balance this data gut instinct equation, you've got to make the call and you've got to own it, right? At the end of the day, leadership is about judgment. Data won't make the decision for you. It helps make the decision, but it will not make the decision for you. And your gut cannot be the only voice in the room. But you decide ultimately which way that balance goes with every decision. And then you take responsibility for that. So the strongest leaders that are out there aren't either or, right? They aren't either. They aren't data or gut or data. They aren't either or thinkers. They're both and leaders. So how can we take the data and how can we interpret it? And we know that our best leaders make powerful decisions that come from that balance between data, instinct, logic, and empathy. That's how it works. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Today's Leader podcast. Keep tuning in as we continue to build tomorrow's best leaders today. I'll see you next time.